Ladies and gentlemen, if you find that in your life you are experiencing unexplainable peace in the midst of storms, know that God is with you. When doors that were once closed suddenly begin to open, even beyond your understanding, it is a sign of His presence. If you notice favor resting on you in situations where you did not earn it, God's hand is upon you. And when your faith grows stronger through trials, when hope rises even in despair, these are unmistakable signs that God walks with you, guiding every step, protecting every path, and illuminating your journey with His divine light. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a life where the winds of chaos blow relentlessly, where challenges rise like mountains, and yet somehow a deep, unshakable peace envelopes your heart. This is not the peace of the world, which depends on circumstances, but a supernatural peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that whispers to your soul, even when every external sign screams otherwise. It is the peace that does not waver when bills are overdue, when relationships are strained, when sickness threatens, or when your plans seem to crumble at your feet. This peace is a clear sign that God is with you, walking silently beside you, shielding you from despair and anchoring your spirit. Many people chase peace in the world. They seek it in comfort, in wealth, in recognition, or even in relationships. But these sources are fragile, temporary, and fleeting. True divine peace is different. It is a calm that floods your inner being despite the chaos surrounding you. It is the peace that allows you to sleep soundly when the future seems uncertain, to laugh even when burdens weigh heavily, to make decisions without fear because a quiet confidence guides your thoughts. When you experience this kind of peace, it is not merely a coincidence or a product of your own strength. It is a supernatural testimony that God has not abandoned you, that He is actively present, orchestrating events beyond what your eyes can see. Consider the story of those who walked through storms yet remained unshaken. In life, everyone faces challenges. There are moments when the pressure seems unbearable, moments when fear whispers lies that you cannot overcome. Yet, some individuals, in the middle of devastation, exhibit a serenity that puzzles others. Their calm is not ignorance of the storm, but a deep awareness that God is holding them. Their hearts are anchored in something far greater than the circumstances they face. Experiencing this unexplainable peace is a spiritual signal. It is as if God is saying, I am here, you are not alone. Trust me in this moment, and I will guide you through. This peace often begins quietly, almost imperceptibly. You may notice it first as a sense of calm when your mind used to race with worry. You may feel it when a decision that normally would have caused anxiety now feels strangely clear and manageable. It may manifest as a subtle assurance that things will work out, even though logic cannot explain how. For many, this peace is accompanied by a growing sense of patience, a capacity to endure difficulties without bitterness, and an ability to forgive offenses that would have previously consumed them. It transforms your reactions, your perspective, and your interactions with others. It is important to understand that this peace does not remove problems. Storms may still rage, Difficulties may still confront you, and pain may still enter your life. But the presence of God changes your inner climate. When you experience this kind of peace, you begin to operate from a place of strength rather than fear. You begin to respond to challenges with clarity rather than panic. You begin to see opportunities for growth and divine intervention where others only see obstacles and despair. This peace becomes a lens through which you view life, and it reshapes your entire experience of reality. Many times, people miss this sign of God's presence because they expect dramatic miracles or overt interventions. They look for explosions of change or immediate removal of difficulties. But often, God's presence is revealed quietly, in the serenity that resides in your heart when nothing else makes sense. It is felt in moments of reflection, in silent prayers, in the gentle reassurance that you are being carried even when your body is weary, your mind is anxious, and your spirit is tested. Experiencing this peace is an invitation to trust God more deeply, to lean into His guidance, and to recognize that even the chaos in your life is under His sovereign control. As this peace grows, it affects not only your inner life, but also your interactions with others. People around you begin to notice a calmness, a patience, and a confidence that they cannot explain. You may become a source of encouragement in the midst of turmoil, a living testimony of God's sustaining power. Your presence itself can bring hope and reassurance to others because divine peace is contagious. It radiates from those who carry it within. This is why experiencing unexplainable peace is such a clear marker of God's nearness. It transforms not only you, but the world around you in subtle, yet profound ways. In the practical rhythms of life, this peace teaches you to navigate uncertainty with wisdom. It allows you to make decisions without panic, to face fear without surrender, and to walk with courage when every path seems fraught with risk. It provides the clarity to distinguish between what is fleeting and what is eternal, between what requires your effort and what requires your trust in God. Those who experience this peace understand that it is not dependent on external validation, financial security, or human approval. It exists independently of outcomes because it is rooted in the presence of God, who never abandons, who never fails, and who works all things for the good of those who love Him. This peace also nurtures faith. When you experience it consistently, your trust in God grows even in circumstances that defy logic. You begin to realize that God is present not only in the visible blessings, but also in the unseen moments of struggle. You understand that your trials are not signs of abandonment, but opportunities for God to demonstrate His power, refine your character, and strengthen your reliance on Him. Each time you feel this peace in the face of difficulty, it becomes a spiritual anchor, reminding you that God's presence is not conditional on comfort, but is a constant in your life, unwavering and faithful. Ultimately, experiencing unexplainable peace is a divine signal. It is a confirmation that God is with you, walking beside you, guiding your steps, and guarding your heart. It is a gift that cannot be manufactured, a presence that cannot be faked, and a reality that surpasses human understanding. Those who embrace this peace discover a new rhythm of life, a perspective that transcends circumstances, and a relationship with God that is deep, intimate, and transformative. It changes the way you see the world, the way you handle adversity, and the way you trust in the God who never leaves, never forsakes, and whose peace reigns supreme in every situation. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when doors that were once tightly shut begin to open in ways you cannot explain. These are not ordinary doors. They are divine opportunities, doors that reflect the favor and presence of God in your journey. You may have tried to push, to knock, to force your way through with all your effort, but it seemed impossible. Yet suddenly, as if by unseen hands, the path clears, barriers fall, and what was inaccessible becomes attainable. This is a powerful sign that God is with you, guiding your steps and orchestrating circumstances beyond what the eye can see. These doors often open in unexpected ways. Perhaps you have sought a promotion, a breakthrough in your career, or an answer to a long-standing prayer, and every attempt seemed fruitless. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a new opportunity arises. Someone recognizes your effort. An unexpected connection is made, or a circumstance shifts in your favor. These openings are often subtle at first, almost unnoticed, but if you pay close attention, they reveal the hand of God working on your behalf. It is a reminder that His timing is perfect, and that even when doors seem closed, He is already preparing the way for you. Many people fail to recognize these divine openings because they are looking for dramatic signs or immediate results. They focus on the closed doors, on the obstacles, and on the waiting, forgetting that God works quietly behind the scenes, aligning situations and people to bring about His plans. When a door opens unexpectedly, it is not a matter of coincidence or luck. It is evidence of a deliberate act of God. It is an invitation to step forward in faith, to walk through without fear, and to trust that He has already gone ahead to prepare the ground for your success. The experience of doors opening also teaches patience and discernment. Not that every open door is meant for you, and God's timing is not always aligned with your schedule. Some doors may open temporarily to redirect you, to teach you lessons, or to prepare you for something greater. The key is to recognize the ones that are divinely appointed, those that carry the fingerprints of God's favor and guidance. When you experience a door opening that aligns with His will, it is often accompanied by a sense of clarity, a peace of mind, and a feeling of certainty that surpasses logical explanation. This is God confirming His presence and His plan for your life. These divine openings are often linked to seasons of preparation. Before a door opens, God may have been equipping you with skills, character, and wisdom necessary for the opportunities ahead. The wait, the struggles, and even the failures are all part of a larger plan to shape you into someone capable of walking through the door successfully. When the door finally opens, it is a moment of affirmation, a visible sign that God's presence has been with you all along, orchestrating every step to lead you to the right place at the right time. Opportunities that arise in this manner often carry exponential impact. A door that opens unexpectedly may lead to growth, influence, or blessings that were unimaginable before. It could be a breakthrough in a career, the right partnership, a new ministry, or a life-changing experience. These moments are not random. They are strategically designed by God to move you closer to your destiny. When you recognize and step through such a door, you enter into a season of favor and abundance that could not have been achieved through your effort alone. Another remarkable aspect of God opening doors is how they often come with confirmation. People, circumstances, and timing align in such a way that you cannot deny the divine orchestration. A mentor may speak words that confirm your direction. An event may present itself that validates your next move. Or a series of coincidences may point clearly toward the opportunity before you. These confirmations strengthen your faith and assure you that you are not alone in your journey. God's presence is tangible in the unfolding of these moments, and His guidance becomes unmistakable. Walking through an open door also requires courage and trust. Even when the door appears, fear or doubt may tempt you to hesitate. You may question whether you are ready, whether it is the right choice, or whether you will succeed. Yet, the very act of stepping forward in faith is an expression of trust in God's plan. Each step through such a door affirms that His favor is real, that He is guiding your path, and that He is present to equip you for what lies ahead. The door does not open for hesitation, but for boldness and obedience. And your willingness to move forward is a response to His invitation. These divine openings also teach gratitude and humility, recognizing that a door has opened not solely by your effort, but through God's intervention cultivates a heart that acknowledges His sovereignty. It reminds you that success, breakthroughs, and opportunities are ultimately gifts, not just rewards for hard work. Gratitude amplifies faith and strengthens your sensitivity to future opportunities. Humility keeps you aligned with God's will, ensuring that the blessings received through these doors are stewarded wisely and for His glory rather than for selfish ambition. In practical life, God opening doors can be seen in every aspect: career, relationships, education, ministry, and personal growth. They are moments where your preparedness meets divine timing. They teach lessons of perseverance, trust, and reliance on God rather than self. They shape your character, expand your perspective, and confirm that you are on the path that God has ordained for you. Experiencing such openings is a tangible reminder that you are not navigating life alone, that the God of heaven walks with you, orchestrates circumstances, and provides access to what once seemed unattainable. Ultimately, the phenomenon of doors opening unexpectedly is more than opportunity. It is a sign of divine presence, guidance, and favor. It is God's way of showing that He is actively involved in your journey, working in ways unseen to position you for His plan. Recognizing these openings and stepping through with faith transforms your life, builds your trust in God, and affirms that wherever you are, whatever challenges you face, you are under the watchful eye and loving care of a God who never abandons, who makes a way where there seems to be none, and whose favor brings life, changing opportunities to those who walk with him. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when you find yourself standing in rooms you never qualified for, receiving help you did not ask for, and enjoying kindness you did not earn. It feels almost uncomfortable because you know deep within that what is happening to you is beyond your effort, beyond your intelligence, beyond your connections. This is what it means to experience favor that rests upon you without explanation. It is not manipulation. It is not coincidence. It is not mere luck. It is the signature of God upon your life, a silent announcement in the realm of the Spirit that He is with you. There are people who work just as hard as you, who possess similar skills, similar backgrounds, and similar ambitions, yet somehow doors bend in your direction. Opportunities locate you. Recommendations are made on your behalf in rooms you have never entered. Decisions tilt in your favor even when the odds were not designed for you. This kind of favor cannot be manufactured by strategy alone. It is a divine advantage. It is God stepping into ordinary situations and adding His weight to your name. Sometimes this favor shows up in subtle ways. A conversation that should have ended abruptly turns into a meaningful connection. A mistake that could have cost you everything is forgiven without consequence. A delay that seemed frustrating protects you from unseen danger. Favor is not always loud or dramatic. Often it is quiet protection, quiet elevation, quiet provision. It is the unseen hand of God rearranging outcomes so that what could have harmed you becomes a stepping stone instead. When favor rests upon you, people respond to you differently. Hearts are softened toward you. Mercy speaks when judgment could have prevailed. Support appears when you expected resistance. You may find that individuals are willing to go out of their way to assist you, sometimes without fully understanding why. It is as though something beyond your personality or performance is advocating for you. That something is the presence of God. When He is with a person, favor becomes a natural atmosphere around their life. This kind of favor does not mean you are perfect. It does not mean you never make mistakes. In fact, sometimes you are fully aware of your limitations, your weaknesses, and your past failures. Yet, despite all of that, you continue to experience unusual grace. You survive situations that should have broken you. You recover from losses faster than expected. You are restored in places where others were permanently rejected. Favor does not ignore your flaws. It magnifies God's mercy over your life. There are seasons when you will look back and realize that what sustained you was not your strength, but God's kindness. You may have thought your intelligence secured the contract, your charm built the relationship, or your effort achieved the breakthrough. But as time passes, clarity comes. You see the invisible threads that were woven together in your favor. You recognize that certain alignments were too precise to be random. You understand that you were being carried by a grace you did not deserve, but deeply needed. Favor also has a way of distinguishing you without arrogance. It separates you not for pride, but for purpose. When God's favor rests upon your life, it is often because He has an assignment that requires you to be positioned in certain places. The favor is not just for comfort, it is for impact. It places you where your voice can be heard, where your influence can grow, where your presence can make a difference. It is divine positioning disguised as privilege. At times, favor will provoke misunderstanding. Not everyone will understand why you were chosen. Some may question your qualifications. Others may assume there was hidden manipulation. But those who walk with God know that favor does not need human explanation. It flows from a relationship with Him. It is rooted in covenant, in obedience, in surrender. When you prioritize God, when you align your heart with His will, favor becomes a byproduct of His presence. This favor also teaches humility. When you know that what you are experiencing is not solely the result of your effort, pride loses its grip. Gratitude becomes your language. You begin to acknowledge God in your victories. You become careful not to boast in yourself because you are aware that without Him, the same opportunities could have bypassed you. Favor keeps you dependent. It reminds you that every advantage is a gift, every elevation is permitted, every breakthrough is granted by a higher authority. There will be moments when the favor seems to lift temporarily, when challenges arise and ease is replaced with pressure. But even in those seasons, the memory of past favor strengthens your faith. You remember how God defended you before. You recall how He surprised you with kindness when you least expected it. That history with God becomes an anchor. It assures you that the same God who favored you yesterday is still present today. When favor rests on your life, it creates momentum. Small opportunities multiply into greater ones. Simple introductions evolve into strategic relationships. What begins as a minor breakthrough expands into lasting impact. Favor accelerates progress in ways that effort alone cannot achieve. It compresses time. It amplifies results. It shields you from unnecessary battles and directs you toward meaningful victories. To experience favor you did not earn is to witness the generosity of God in action. It is to live with the awareness that heaven is backing you, that grace is speaking for you, that mercy is covering you. It is to move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that even when you fall short, God's kindness will not. It is to understand that you are not navigating this world by human strength alone, but under the covering of a God who delights in lifting, protecting, and establishing those who walk with Him. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a mysterious work that God does in the life of a person when faith begins to grow stronger, not in comfort, but in pain, not in answers, but in questions, not in victories, but in trials. This kind of faith is not learned in moments of celebration. It is forged in seasons where everything seems uncertain. When challenges arise and instead of your heart collapsing, it becomes steadier. When adversity presses in and instead of giving up, your trust in God deepens. This is a powerful sign that God is with you. Many people expect trials to destroy faith, but when God is present, trials become tools. They stretch your spiritual capacity, refine your dependence, and deepen your understanding of who God truly is. You begin to realize that faith is not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust God despite fear. Each trial confronts you with a choice to retreat into doubt, or to lean into God. When you consistently find yourself choosing trust, even with trembling hands, it reveals that something divine is at work within you. As faith grows through trials, hope also rises in unexpected ways. This hope is not naive optimism or denial of reality. It is a deep-rooted assurance that God is still in control, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. You may not know how things will work out, but you are convinced that they will. This hope allows you to wake up each day with courage, to face uncertainty with resilience, and to endure hardship without losing your sense of purpose. It is hope that refuses to die because it is anchored in God, not in outcomes. There are moments when trials strip away everything you relied on before. Strength fails, plans collapse, and familiar support systems fall short. In these moments, faith becomes personal. It is no longer borrowed from others or sustained by external encouragement. It becomes an inner conviction, a quiet confidence that God is near. You begin to pray differently, not with rehearsed words, but with raw honesty. You begin to trust God, not because you understand Him, but because you have experienced His faithfulness in small, undeniable ways. Growing faith through trials also reshapes your perspective. What once seemed like a disaster begins to look like preparation. Delays become lessons. Losses become redirections. Pain becomes a teacher. You start to see that God is more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are going through. Trials are no longer viewed as punishments, but as processes. They are the environments where God strengthens your spiritual muscles and builds endurance in your soul. Hope rising through trials does not mean the absence of sorrow. There may still be tears, moments of exhaustion, and days where strength feels limited. But beneath all of that, there is a steady assurance that God has not abandoned you. This assurance allows you to grieve without despair and to struggle without surrender. You learn that it is possible to be broken and believing at the same time, wounded and worshiping, tired and trusting. This balance is only possible when God is actively present in your life. As faith matures through hardship, it becomes less reactive and more rooted. You are no longer easily shaken by bad news or delayed answers. You develop spiritual stability. Your confidence shifts from what you can control to who God is. You begin to rely on His character rather than His immediate intervention. This kind of faith is not loud or showy. It is quiet, deep, and unmovable. It is the faith that remains standing when everything else is uncertain. Trials also teach you to listen more closely to God. In seasons of ease, it is easy to overlook His voice, but in difficulty, your sensitivity sharpens. You become more aware of His guidance, more attentive to His leading. Scripture becomes alive. Prayer becomes a lifeline. Worship becomes a refuge. Through trials, your relationship with God deepens, not because life is easy, but because dependence is necessary. When hope rises through trials, it begins to influence others. People notice your resilience, your calm, your refusal to give up. They may not understand the source of your strength, but they are drawn to it. Your life becomes a testimony, not through perfection, but through perseverance. Your endurance speaks louder than words. It reveals that God is sustaining you in ways that cannot be explained by human strength alone. Faith that grows through trials also brings clarity about purpose. You begin to understand that your pain is not wasted. What you endure today becomes the strength you offer tomorrow. The comfort you receive from God becomes the comfort you extend to others. Trials shape you into someone who can carry weight, responsibility, and influence without being destroyed by them. God uses these seasons to prepare you for assignments that require depth, compassion, and unwavering trust. As hope continues to rise, it becomes a constant companion. It reminds you that no trial is permanent, no season is final, and no struggle has the authority to define your future. This hope does not rest on timelines or guarantees. It rests on God's faithfulness. It assures you that even when the path is unclear, you are being led. Even when progress feels slow, transformation is taking place. Even when answers delay, God's presence remains. This growing faith and rising hope are not accidents. They are evidence that God is actively involved in your life, strengthening you from within, carrying you through what you could not survive alone, and shaping you into someone who trusts Him not only when things go well, but when everything is tested, because a faith that survives trials is a faith that knows God personally, deeply, and intimately.